Today in part 2, we're going to really go over crafting your plan to actually move abroad, going from contemplating to executing your plan. Keep watching. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Single Women Retiring Abroad. This is part 2 of our, I don't want to say series, but the topic that we are discussing. How do you go from contemplating the idea of retiring abroad to actually doing it? I've done it, and so have others. So you're not alone. But before we get any further, let me remind you of who I am. I am Maggie Lazar. I'm a retired nurse practitioner, and I have been living here as a retiree in Panama for the last year and a half, almost 2 years. So I'm still loving it, and retirement is nothing like what I was expecting. It's a lot more fun. So I don't want to take too much time in the introduction. One well-meaning viewer told me that in my last video, I spent 7 to 8 minutes rambling. I thought I was making connection, but obviously we need to get right into it. But allow me, Mr. Viewer, to recap what we talked about in the previous video, since it is a two-part. How do you go from contemplating to executing your plan? I took you through a period or an exercise of self-assessment, asking you these 4 questions. Is retiring abroad a viable option for you? Explore your financial options, very important. Number 3 was, are you a good prospect? And that was a really, really important one. And the 4th one is, can you do it alone? Those 4 questions really shed light onto the kind of person you are, who is strong, assertive, and self-directed, which are traits that you're going to need to get to the second part, to even contemplate going abroad and living the rest of your life abroad. Okay, so let's get into it. What you want to do once you make that decision, you say, okay, I've gone through the exercise, I've assessed myself, and I'm ready to go. Decisión hecha, we will say in Spanish. The decision is done, you're going to move forward, right? And then it's one of those, now what? What do I do? I got you. All right. So this is where the research begins. The first point was making the decision for this part. The second point is the research. You got to give yourself time to do the research. And that's why you don't want to, you have to know the kind of person you are. If you're diligent at finding information, you are able to go online, you can Google, you're not intimidated by going online and finding information, it's not going to take you long. But if you're not comfortable, I hear people tell me, I'm not comfortable going on Facebook. Well, you're going to have to join some Facebook groups, because that is part of making connections ahead of you getting here. And that's how you're going to be connecting with people. So whatever you need to do to get yourself ready or in that mind frame, make sure you do it. So how are you going to start your research? Okay. You're going to have now to see, you already know how much money you have, right? So if you're thinking of places like Mexico, you need to research Mexico's retirement income requirement, which I understand has gone up to over $4,000 a month. If you don't have that level of income, you need to cross Mexico off your list, right? Okay. So look at your income, research the countries that you might be interested in. Do you want to go Asia, or do you want to do Central or South America or Europe? Okay. But just don't pick like 20. Give yourself some grace, because that's going to be a lot of work. I would say 1 country per continent, and then do your research, finding out everything you need to do, everything you need to know about what are the requirements for retirees. And a lot of countries are making it attractive to retirees by offering really generous visa processes or protocols like France and Portugal. I think the Philippines now is giving out some really nice, like a 5-year visa, and then the requirement is like only $1,000 a month. Find out. Join retired or expat Facebook groups in those countries and then pose your question, or go into the search feature of those pages before you pose a question, because typically the questions have been answered umpteen times. Okay, so do one country in each continent and then go to work and find the information that you need. So the things that you might want to find out are income requirement, visa process, or if there is already an expat community in that area. And then you also have to take into consideration the location. Do you need to get back home very often? How long is the flight from where you are to that, you want to go to South Africa, it's like 14, 16-hour flight. How comfortable are you flying these long distances? You have got to be true to yourself and not, because if you want to go back and you're homesick and you want to make 2, 3 trips a year in the first couple of years, okay? So, all right, make sure you do your research, location, retirement income requirement, weather, right? Food and visa options. So we went over that. So that's number 2. So I said you want to consider maybe 1, hopefully not 2, because that would be a lot more countries for you to research. And remember that if you find that if you use that Blaxit workbook that I'm going to attach in the description, and then you just score those countries and then go by the numbers, whichever country score highest, go with them. Use the tool, okay? Number 3, after you get all your information, you want to go visit. You want to do some scouting trips. Now, listen, guys, all these points I am going over right now are included in the playlist that is on the YouTube channel, because I have grouped a lot of videos. One is Retire in Panama, that includes all the research, which is what we're talking about. So after I talk about these things, go back and watch the videos. That's part of your research. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You need to watch the videos, okay? And watch other people's videos, not just my videos, okay? You're going to have to budget for some scouting trips. So the more countries you're interested in, the more money you're going to have to budget for, because do not do it blindly. I have heard a couple of people who have just come sight unseen. I don't recommend it. I do not. But if you feel that you're so flexible that you can just drop yourself somewhere and make it work, more power to you. This is not what I recommend. Okay? You're going to go on some scouting trips. And when you go there, hopefully you've already connected with some people on site through the Facebook groups. You've gotten some phone numbers. You're reaching out. Can we have lunch? Can I talk about your experience here? Take the bus tours to the country, the city where you want. Ask questions. Be very curious. Observe. Watch the traffic. Taste the food. Go pass by a hospital, check the entertainment, whatever is important to you, you want to make sure you check it out on your scouting trips. Ask the expat groups, where do you live? Where do you recommend? What is walkable? Do you have any kind of mobility issues? Is there handicap access? Anything that is important to you, ask those questions. And you know what? I am amazed how open people are to answering the same questions over and over. I get a little put out sometimes, but they're like, wow. So whenever somebody posts a question, if I see about 20 answers, I just move on, because I figured, they've gotten the responses that they want. I don't need to contribute anything else. So budget for those scouting trips. Number 4, you have to set a timeline from when you're going to make your exit based on the complexity of the countries you are considering, the length of the visa process. And I can only talk about Panama. If you come on a scouting trips here and you've decided on Panama, you ask in those groups, do you have any immigration lawyer that you recommend? Because, it's like a plumber, a doctor, a dentist. You always want to get a recommendation. Don't go, remember how we used to have those phone books? And they used to tell you, don't pick your providers, from a phone book. Ask somebody, do you have a doctor that you like? And I did an interview just now with my friend Sonia, and she's saying, yes, somebody recommended the immigration lawyer. Somebody recommended the doctor. This is how we make it work. Ask, and they'll tell you. So you would want to make some an appointment or two with some immigration attorney while you're doing your scouting trip, and ask the question, get the information as to what's required for the visa that you're considering. Okay? So that's your scouting trip and in your timeline. So that's going to determine how long you're going to give yourself from the time you return home to the time you may have to make your exit, right? In Panama, we ask you to budget or to project 4 to 6 months from the time you get your temporary residency card to the time you get your permanent. But you can still be here and not have your permanent yet, because with the temporary, you're legal, okay? And the timeline I'm referring to is how long it's going to take you to get your affairs in order, your house, your stuff, clothes, household, and all that, your car, right? So make sure, depending on the kind of person you are, how organized you are, how long it might take you. It took me 6 to 8 months, right? Because if you have a large house, it may take you a while to get rid of everything. And for me, that was the most emotional part. It wasn't leaving. I wasn't attached to the house that much, but my cookware and my clothes and my bed. I know it sounds trivial, but that was emotional for me. Okay. So I think a good time frame from beginning your research to actually exiting could be like 12 months to 18 months. So this is not a rush to do anything. Give yourself time so you don't miss anything. Okay. And there is a moving abroad list I'm going to attach in the description where you can just check things. That I've done this. I've gone to the bank. I've checked my finances. I've done my what is it we're going to talk about? Uh, hmm advanced directives, the what ifs if you die. Okay, because that's important too. So make sure you're giving yourself enough time and go watch the videos and all the different topics that you have to address. Make sure you take time to do it. Don't skip on anything because it's important. So in the timeline, you're going to look at your visa process, how long it's going to take you. You're going to think about what to do with your home. Are you going to need the rental income? Me, I didn't necessarily need the rental income. I put my home on the market and then the market kind of went down. And I was going to have to reduce the price of my home, like $75,000. And I'm like, oh, I don't need to do that. Nope, I'm going to rent it. So decide what to do with your house. If you're going to keep it or you're going to put it on the market. And that's another work to get the house spruced up and get it ready. That's a lot of work. A lot of energy will go into that. Decluttering. At the beginning, start giving things away so that at the end, you don't have a bulk of things to get rid of. Give the stuff to your kids, to your cousin, to your sister, to your neighbor. Start decluttering, okay? Advanced directives. You want to go talk to your attorney, your CPA, or you want to, like me, I didn't use an attorney. I just used LegalZoom, and I did my will, my living will. I did my trust, and I did my do not resuscitate. But those don't count here in Panama. I hate to tell you, I went through this whole exercise. I was so proud of myself, give copies to my daughter, and I come here, the attorney said, nope, those are not recognized here. You're going to have to redo them here. So I'm trying to make an appointment to get that done. Seriously? Yes, ma'am. Number 5, emotional prep. I think I have a video that says how to prepare your family for your exit. That might take work. Some family members would say, oh, I knew you would be exiting somewhere. But some people are like, are you crazy? What do you mean? You're going to leave your grandkids? You're going to leave this? And they're putting the guilt on you. You're going to have to go through that. And I'm going to be doing a video, special video just about that, because of my psych background, because don't let people guilt you into trying to prepare for your retirement. It is your right and it's your duty to do it. So don't let somebody else get into your head. Mm-mm. So, but you need to understand that it's a big change for them as it is for you. So you want to be understanding and give him time to get used to the idea. So don't keep it to yourself. Start getting all your stuff done. And then a month before you have to go say, guess what? I'm leaving. I'm moving to Thailand. It might not go so well. So know your family and know how you're going to put it out there and let them know. Somebody said she told them during Thanksgiving dinner, or you could announce it during a family reunion, depending on the family. Okay. But don't skip that because that's important. Number 6, deciding about your home. We already talked about that. It doesn't have to be a separate number on the list. Making connections abroad. It is super important that you don't come to a new country and just be all by yourself at the airport. Nobody, if you have an emergency to call, you need to start working on those connections before. So join Facebook groups. When you come on scouting trips, go out to lunch with people, get their phone number. Usually everybody's on WhatsApp once you leave the United States. So make sure you have people WhatsApp number and that, you let them know your timeline when you're coming in so that they know. And you say, do you mind when I come in? I can reach out to you. Right now with this YouTube channel, I have lots of people saying, I'm coming in August, I'm coming in this. Can I reach out? Of course, here's my email. And everybody, not everybody, but most of us are willing to lend a hand because we've been through it. We know how scary it is. And to just land, we try to give you a softer landing. But you got to take the time to make those connections, okay? Very important. Stick to your plan, but be flexible. Things can happen. Maybe you might have a delay in getting your document apostille because you have to go to the, is it embassy? Yeah, to get your document authenticated. Oh, I'm impressed. I got that word out. Usually I murder that word. Your selling your home may not happen just like that. It may take you a little bit longer to get rid of your stuff using Facebook Marketplace. And I was big on giving things to Goodwill, or that takes energy. And you got to pace yourself, okay? We'll talk about self-care in a minute, but it's important. Are you doing all this? That's a ton of work, mental and physical. So sleep, exercise, eating, those things are important to take care of you. Because if you crash before you can exit, what's the point, right? Okay. So making connections, stick to your plan, but be flexible. If anything happens, the world's not gonna end. If you said I wanted to leave in September and then you had to push it back to December, it's okay. It's okay. Be flexible. Self-care. Self-care because moving abroad is a mental game and it's a physical game. So don't put too much on your plate at one time, okay? Schedule things out. See, I'm a planner and I like to write things out. So if you want to take like a notebook and maybe you have a calendar and just say, I'm going to be doing 2 or 3 things a day, but don't cram everything and then you're exhausted, you're brain dead and you can't think. Don't do that. So space the activities. Know which ones might take longer and start those earlier, right? And in the meantime, make sure you stick to an exercise plan, whether it's walking, whether it's going to the gym, because when you are super tired, you're not clear-minded and you might make mistakes. and then you're going to be crabby and upset, and nobody wants to be around you. You don't want that. Sometimes you might say, okay, I'm going to take a break. I'm going to stop on Wednesday. I'm going to go somewhere for the weekend, go to the beach, go to the mountain just to clear your head. Self-care. Make sure you do that. It's important, okay? Because you're going to go through a wave of emotions. You're going to feel excited. You're going to be scared. Then you're going to be depressed. I'm leaving my grandbaby. I'm going to leave my house. I don't know what's going to happen over there. I don't speak the language. I don't know people. And that's another thing. I didn't even put it on here. Start learning the language if it's not your mother language, English. You know, if you're going to Portugal, you better start learning some Portuguese. Okay? Here for Panama, start doing some Duolingo or Rosetta Stone or going on YouTube and, you know, start the basic greetings, food, whatever. Okay? So self-care is important. Make sure you get in. I tend to be one, if I start something, I'm going to finish it, even if it's 5 o'clock in the morning. Bad habit, bad habit. So know when to stop, to smell the flowers, go to a concert, go out with friends, anything that brings you pleasure and calms you down, make sure you engage in that. For me, it's cooking, listening to classical music, then I don't need to go out, I don't drink. So whatever you need to do to calm yourself down, do it, do it, do it, do it, do it. And then I have a video in that playlist about packing. I have a video about developing a minimalist mindset. That means you need to start getting rid of things that realize that you don't need all that stuff. And then I have a video about what to pack to come here. I can only talk about Panama. You don't need heavy coats. You don't need socks. You don't need pantyhose. You don't need any of that stuff. You're coming into a hot and humid atmosphere. And then you don't need all the stuff you think you're going to need. And a lot of us, somebody came here with 7 suitcases. And I'm like, oh, that's a lot of money that airline is going to pay you. You and I have also all the information that what you can find here. Clothes, you don't need much. Just bring minimal. And then come here, you can buy them $5, $10 cheap. So don't pack socks and underwear and a bunch of stuff. Don't do that. You don't need it. Watch the video. Watch the video. So at this time, you've already done your temporary residency. Maybe you, and the scouting trips maybe more than once. And that's why you have to make sure you budget for that, because you go do your initial, then you have to go back to do your permanent, because if you're not ready to come, you have to go back home and then have to go back. So there is some cash you're going to have to put out there for just for airfare and Airbnbs, right? So I wanted to take you to this exercise to make you aware that once you go from contemplating, see, I didn't stop to tell you guys to like, subscribe, and share. I always forget, but you know the drill. Come on, guys. I am shooting for 2,000 subscribers. I'm thinking by the end of July, I would like to do that. Maybe not, maybe August. But we did really good. And then we went into like a little lull. We had a dip. So we just need to keep everything going. So I need y'all to like, share. If you like, it helps the algorithm recommend the video to other people who are like-minded, looking for the same information. And subscribe helps the count. And watch the video to the end, because watching time is also important to YouTube. Don't ask me why. That's just the way it works. But you know, when we're making videos, we're taking time and energy to give you this information. We don't ask for any money from you guys, but whatever YouTube is able to give us, we will take, right? So please like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell so you know when every time I post a video. Every single week, usually on Fridays, if it's late on Saturday. And I do a short, I'm doing one every day. I'm working hard, so help a sister out, okay? So I want you to get in the mind frame that it is an organized process, that it cannot be haphazard. And any resource that I can, I'm going to put in the description. And if I find anyone else's video that I think pertains to this, I will attach, because I'm not one of those people that will say, only I know, only my information, because I know I don't. There's a woman, Panama Relocation Tour, that lady is a wealth of knowledge, right? So I watch her sometime and I learn something from her. But, I'm a little bit different. My energy and my delivery is different. So to each his own. So I hope you like the way I deliver and the way I interact with you guys. So hopefully I don't want to say hater, my guy who responded, who made the comment earlier, is going to say, oh, you did better. I'm trying to get better. So all right, so those were the two videos about the mindset, the mind shift to get you from considering the idea to actually doing it. And then once you get here, we are here, you're home, and we are here to hug you and welcome you. And we have our sisterhood here. Single Women Retiring Abroad is an active group. It's not just a YouTube channel name. We are here. We have fun. We just had um, a potluck dinner, wearing our hats, and people just hanging out. Retirement is not boring. I don't golf. I don't go do little games, but I like to be out on the road exploring, concert, movies. I'm not big on restaurants, but we're living our best life here. But we want to be informed, engaged, happy, healthy, and this is what I promise to bring you. So if you like this content, I hope you're going to consider subscribing and you're going to keep watching the videos. And I thank you very, very, very much. All right. So God bless you. I love you. Au revoir. Bye bye. Well, this was a first for me. This was the National Police entertaining the crowd with salsa music, dancing. That was amazing. I was speechless. They were good. The crowd was lapping it up. This here embodies the spirit of Panama. Joy, pure joy. Discovering Panama with Maggie